And it's live.
I think I'm going to change my Twitter bio to thin-skinned hypocrite.
I approve.
Look, I'm just trying to be honest.
I don't usually. I'm not a betting man, if you will, but I'd bet that you're playing Call of Duty.
Well, you know, it's going to be a 3-week break after this. And, oh my God, do I need to find this guy? No, you're out there.
People on the outside world is the audio should hopefully be okay, but let me know otherwise.
Well, do you think this we would ever stop using Skype for this? I almost said, how long do you think it will be? But I guess there's a chance it wouldn't actually happen. What's the timer on this thing, do you think?
I don't know, but I'm trying to reset a machine, and the number of times I said yes owner remove all my files is astronomical, and there's another prompt on the screen. All I want to do is be able to click, I understand you need to confirm it, but I shouldn't have to click like 75 times and I want to refresh this thing.
What I want to hear is everything was fine, but then I installed Skype. All right. All righty. Actually, yeah, let's leave you on. You see the thing about Yusuf Mehdi?
Nope.
So his title was Corporate Vice President, Windows and Devices Group. And today he changed it to Corporate Vice President, Modern Life and Devices Group, meaning that they're taking Windows out of job titles now.
Did that come across on the Spoonbill thing or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
See, it is useful.
Yeah, it's really useful. It might be the smartest thing you ever told me about.
Yeah, Corporate Vice President, Modern Life and Devices Group.
Yep. So they had done that Modern Life demo, like it was like, you know, how Microsoft, plans to get consumers back. And they said it without laughing.
Ready?
Sure.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to First Ring Daily Live, where Paul, I think, got a haircut.
That's true.
I noticed because I care, Paul.
Well, you don't care that much. I did it 2 days ago.
Oh, did you really?
Well, no, actually, maybe it was yesterday. I don't know when.
And then it's going to dwindle down to, yeah, actually, it's yesterday at 4 o'clock after we did the podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
And then as we were talking right before the show, Yusuf Mehdi, who was a former still is a corporate vice president of, Windows and Devices Group, is now hold on, I'm going to read his actual title here, because why not? He's now the corporate vice president of the Modern Life and Devices Group. Keyword missing there from that statement is Windows.
Yeah. So if you go to allaboutmicrosoft.com, which is Mary Jo's URL, she wrote a story about this yesterday called Microsoft's Plan to Try and Win Back Consumers with Modern Life Services. And the consumer plan is like you'll have Microsoft on all your devices, the cross-device integration stuff. Continue on PC and so forth.
And so how is that different from what they were doing yesterday?
It's like a look, don't look over here, it's new.
Yeah, I was like, this all sounds familiar. It's just a new headline that doesn't have the word Windows in it.
Yeah, well, to me, that's the notable bit, right? So someone on Twitter's already asked, like, what does that even mean? And I didn't write this back, but, my response to that really is what it doesn't mean is Windows. Windows is part of it, obviously. But, I mean, I think this is yet another sign of them looking at this more broadly than just Windows.
Yep, it was just like during Inspire where they referred to Android as a Microsoft 365 endpoint, not as a mobile OS. I mean,
yes, it's an endpoint. I think we can all agree it's at an endpoint.
Wow. Yeah. Well, rocking on from there. Microsoft announced earnings yesterday, and to say they were anything other than honestly great, it would be short selling it at $30.9
Yep.
billion in revenue. They outperformed what Wall Street wanted. Commercial Cloud brought in $6.9 billion, up 53%. Azure grew by 89%. Intelligent Cloud had a total of $9.6 billion in revenue, growing 23%. More personal computing, which includes that Windows that they're trying to scrub from the internet, even though I don't understand why, brought in $10.8 billion.
Its biggest business unit.
Yeah.
So that's the uncomfortable irony to the earnings. You know, you've heard the phrase, show me the money. I want Microsoft to show me where the profits are coming from, because they don't do that. Right. And I think they're in this phase where they're trying, and it's working with Wall Street, where they're pushing this cloud computing thing. But I bet they make a lot more money from other stuff. And I think that's the thing they're trying to obscure right now as they make this transition. I don't mean to suggest that, you know, Windows is kind of kicking ass and taking names or anything, but it's this established product line that has like a regular revenue stream that comes in, and they keep downplaying it and downplaying it and downplaying it. And I assume, in fact, I wrote this today, I think in Short Takes, that they must be looking at this Windows 10 upgrade cycle that's going to happen between now and just past the end of Windows 7's life cycle ending in the beginning of 2020 as possibly the final last great Windows upgrade, you know?
Yeah.
And I just made this up because I like making things up, but it seems to me that internally they could be thinking of that as the point at which these cloud/intelligent edge efforts need to be paying off, because this is the end of the line for this stuff. I think it just goes down from there.
Yeah. No, I mean, you might not, I don't think you're wrong. We will, obviously, the financial statements will tell the true story, partially because Microsoft is good at masking this stuff. That's what happens when you make $8 billion in net income. You can pay the accountants to do that for you.
I just don't, you know, there's a lack of transparency to the earnings that I always find revolting. Like every quarter, it bothers me, you know. So the big one from this quarter, well, the big one is always Commercial Cloud, which isn't a thing, but, you know, let's add up a bunch of stuff so that it's bigger than AWS. Do you have that number? Yep. Okay. That's Commercial Cloud. Like we're just going to pretend, even though it comes out of different business units, you know, only parts of different business units. Okay, fine. That's fine. I get it. You guys compete. It's good. Azure did grow almost 100%. So their share of the market did, in fact, almost double. It is still half the size of AWS. And AWS is also growing too. So the gap is closing. But I think it's fair to say these are the two big players. Okay, great. But commercial Office 365 grew at some rate, but they never gave us the new number. Consumer Office 365 grew at a very small rate, and they went up by 1 million users to roughly, I think it was 31.6 million, something like that. So it didn't go up very much. I'm wondering if Office 365 hasn't actually grown, or has grown very slowly on the commercial side from a number of users perspective, because the one thing they cited for the revenue increase was an increased revenue per user, meaning that more users or more customers are opting for higher end versions of the SKU, or higher end SKUs, I guess I should say, meaning they're paying more per month per user. That's what Microsoft 365 is essentially, really. If you want to just kind of slot it in somewhere, it's just another set of higher end versions of Office 365 because they're throwing additional stuff in there, Windows and the management stuff. It's I'm not saying it's doing bad. I don't mean it like that, but it's weird to me on a quarter by quarter basis. They can just kind of cherry pick the little bits of information you get, you know? But like you said, billions and billions of dollars. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Who's complaining?
Floating around.
I'm like the only one in the back of the room going, but, or you see headlines like, Surface and Xbox drive Microsoft's revenues, and
oh no,
what? Oh, there are multiple versions of that headline. Like,
no,
I'm sorry, that's unbelievable.
Yep.
So,
yeah, that's the bad one, because I think we all know it's cloud that's driving additional revenue. Windows will continue to make. I would expect that business org to be around 10 billion for quite a while. If it's going to jump up by anything, I think Surface might drive that, but it's not going to jump $5 billion in a quarter. Nowhere near that ever.
Well, whatever the profits were, you have to kind of wonder where they come from.
Right.
The other thing is, even on the cloud side, there are two parts to Microsoft's cloud business, and they do break it down into these two different business groups. One of them is productivity, which is essentially Office 365, Dynamics, and the other things. And then there's Intelligent Cloud, which is Azure and whatever else. I can't remember what anything is anymore. But the thing they don't really talk about that much is server is an intelligent cloud. Yep. And like Windows on the desktop, that is a pretty big established business.
A little bit.
And yeah. And again, I feel like there's an effort not to kind of downplay the fact that a lot of the profits and revenues we see over there and in other parts of the business are really coming from these other things. You know, I don't mean to say that what they're doing isn't smart and that they're not succeeding at what they're doing. I don't mean it like that. But, you know, Microsoft has these legacy businesses that are going to just churn revenue for a long time to come. And I almost feel like they're slightly disrespectful to it in their just desire to jump into the future. And I mean, Wall Street's lapping it up. So again, like, what am I complaining about? But I just wish we had hard numbers.
Yeah. There was an analyst who actually did ask a good question about on-prem and asking about the revenue split and how that was going, because clearly they understand that, yes, this is still around and it's just going to continue to print money, but how much money?
Did you catch how they answered that question?
What?
Did you catch how they answered that question?
Well,
they didn't answer that question.
Right, they avoided
it. So
what
they talked about was, oh yeah, hybrid computing is blah, 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 blah. Like, in other words, the idea is, yeah, that it's just like the business unit. There's some of this and there's some of this. And it's like, right. But what we're really asking here is it true that the bigger percentage of profits and revenues that you're making in that business unit are now coming from on-prem servers? And they didn't actually answer that question.
Because they don't want to. They want to what you were saying. They want everyone
because that's Wall Street relies on that stuff. You know,
we're the cloud.
Cloud. Yeah,
we're not We're not building server software anymore. We just.
I mean, this is the success of this current regime is based on leaving the past behind, and I think it's not wrong to rely on the past as you move to that future. You have to. It's not like you're gonna just drop it. It is literally $10 billion in revenues just on the Windows client side, roughly, or whatever percentage, is probably $8 billion, just from Windows. And we don't know what the percentage is over an intelligent cloud. It's huge. That stuff together could be a third of the company, but they're ashamed of it, and they know that all their success is based on this future stuff. It's just a little, it's weird. That's all.
And here's a question for you, Paul. How many more months do you think Windows 10 will be under 700 million devices? It's only been 4.
Yeah, so that one's weird to me too, right? So Windows 10 experienced, from a revenue perspective, strong growth in the business side of things, and with the Pro SKU on PC makers. Windows Client on consumer actually declined, by the way. I think it was like a 3% decline. So again, kind of bearing out this notion that it's business PC sales that are driving like the little bit of growth we saw in the PC industry in the last quarter. Interesting. But, I track every time they give us a number. I look at the numbers and I kind of say, okay, well, during this time frame, Microsoft acquired roughly, 17 million new Windows 10 active PCs every month on average, whatever it is. And the growth in Windows 10 usage, as we'll call this, has accelerated over time, which is kind of interesting, right? Obviously, it was really fast in the beginning, went down, but then since then it's been going up, not sharply, but going up. So last time we got a number for that, I don't remember the dates anymore, but it was probably the $600 million milestone. The rate had gone up to, it was almost 17. Let's call it 17 million new active Windows 10 devices per month. That was the rate. So Terry Myerson first said the phrase nearly 700 million, I believe in late March.
Yep.
I could be off. It could be early April, but it was somewhere in that time frame. This is months ago. So let's call it April, May, June, July, 3 months ago. So like, assuming the rate has stayed the same, but again, we've seen growth in the market that if anything, the rate should be accelerating, but let's just call it 17. 17 times 3 is whatever number that is, 41, something like that. Is it that what it is? Whatever it is, doesn't matter. We should have seen that many more
51.
Windows 10 active PCs since the time that Terry Myerson first said this.
Or 41. Why can't I do this?
So, I mean, I don't know. Like, does Terry Myerson have trouble with numbers? I mean, was the number 630? And he's like, that's nearly 700. You're like, yeah, I guess so. I don't know. Or did something happen? Was there a cliff that something fell off of here? It's weird.
Yeah. Yep. And here we are. 680. That's the number I think. That's
You
my
think? Yeah.
guess.
You think it's still that far below 700?
Yeah, I think it might. I don't know. I mean, I guarantee if it was like 697, they would have just rounded up and be like, we're there. But
I'm just joking. What I'm about to say is a joke, but you have to wonder after the 1 billion thing that he said this nearly 700 million thing. And then Satya Nadella looked at the actual number and he was like, seriously, are you demented? How many times are you going to be off by an order of magnitude? Like that was the reason why he's kind of like, it's kind of strange. Like, I don't actually think that's what happened, but it is rather notable that both of these number gaffes have come out of the same mouth. That's all.
Yep. Other news that popped out today that was actually pretty interesting. So a bunch of tech giants, including Microsoft, Google, Facebook, and I think Twitter, they're going to now make it easier, or at least they're working on making it easier to transfer your data between platforms, which is actually quite nice. There's only, I mean, the news is face value at this point, but there's only one company missing here, Paul, that would have maybe kind of filled this out, and it's Amazon.
Not Pinterest.
Okay.
If anyone thinks that Apple is going to play any role in this little initiative, I have a newsflash for you.
Yeah.
Apple's business model relies on you never leaving the platform. There's absolutely no chance they'll join this.
Amazon's the same way. Although I guess this isn't corporate data.
No, I mean
this is all consumer.
Yeah, but Apple has no incentive to join this.
Yeah.
None. Unless they feel like maybe there could be some growth from getting people to come to them, I suppose. But
the only reason I was thinking Amazon because AWS is like the Apple of the enterprise world. Once you're in AWS, you don't leave. Yeah. Not because you don't want to, it's because you can't, because your entire infrastructure is built in a customized platform. And there you go.
Maybe these companies have all agreed to do this because all of their data is on AWS and it will be easy.
I'm going to go with no, but you know.
No, I know.
Other things that happened today, Mehdi wrote this up. So the Microsoft Store getting, I guess the designers rolling out now, just trying to make it look a little bit better. The pages have always looked okay. This, I think, looks better too. What I do wish they would fix is actually when you just open up the store, that landing page, I don't know, still looks poor in my opinion. The actual product pages look okay, but I wish that they would, I don't know.
Between the Microsoft Store, which is kind of interesting, and Microsoft Edge, which is also kind of interesting in this regard, we've seen a densifying of the user interface, right? Where it used to be like big seas of white, giant text with nothing there. Now, they're starting to cram stuff in, like the Microsoft Store. Let's see if I can bring it up. If you go to the download and update screen, there's like a sidebar now with choices over there. Like they're starting to put stuff in. And it's really dramatic on Microsoft Edge, especially in that settings and more menu, where they're grouping things and there's, they're jamming more stuff in there. It's almost like this little UWP thing is starting to grow up.
I need to write this down that Paul said something nice about UWP.
It looks better than it did. Granted, a low bar, which is, the problem.
This is true. And then this is a very random question that I didn't even put in the show notes. And since it's been almost 2 years since I bought an iPhone, I'm curious if you know this. So I think I've said this out loud about 95 times. Still contemplating switching to T-Mobile here at some point. Obviously, we're buying the new iPhones when they come out. Do they still have? Is it one iPhone to rule them all now, or do they still have a Verizon specific?
Yeah, there's two.
Fuck. Oops.
But hold on a second. If you have a Verizon iPhone.
Yeah,
I believe that one is in fact universal. Like I think that one you could take to T-Mobile even though it's GSM, but you should check with them obviously. Yeah. But I don't know if you saw the story this week about T-Mobile enhancing their international plans, right?
Well, that was part of it. Yep.
Yeah, I did this myself. In fact, I'd like to do the math on this, but you can't. You have to call them, right? So if you go to their website and you're like, well, how much will this cost me? You kind of enter in information about your phone. And you're like, blah, 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 this could happen. And then it gets to this point where it says, now you have to call us or we will call you. And it's like, seriously, nobody buys anything this way anymore. I wish that's the one thing about T-Mobile that's always kind of bugged me. But you should do this. Go to T-Mobile.com or whatever. Tell them the carrier on the phone and see what they say. Because I bet you will find out very quickly before you even have to talk to them whether or not that phone can make the transition and whether you save any money.
Yeah, well, I think it comes out to I would save money mostly through. It's not a ton of money, but because they now include Netflix in the subscription price, so effectively I'd be paying $120 a month plus, or saving whatever Netflix cost us. And on Verizon, I'm paying like 130.
This is for two phones.
Yes,
And how much data do you get?
unlimited.
Really? And you say unlimited. You didn't. I noticed you didn't make an air quote. You think?
Well, it's more so.
Yeah.
Limited, unlimited. I think it's like 50 gigs of unlimited, something
Wow.
like that. There's
How much
modifiers
do you
or
actually
whatever.
use? Do you know? Do you keep track of this?
What's that?
How much do you actually use?
Oh, I use like not much, 3 to 4
Yeah.
gigs a month.
Really, even that much? I bet I don't. I bet I almost, when I'm not traveling, I bet I rarely even use 1 gigabyte of data.
See, what the problem is, you travel a lot. So that's
Yeah, that's one of the things. I mean, that's the thing. Like, so when we go to Sweden, they cap your data. So I'm sorry. They don't cap your data. They cap the amount of money you spend on data. So if I use 6 gigs of data somehow, that's where I stop paying for it. The rest of it's just free. So my basic bill is $30. I pay $10 per gigabyte. The most I could spend for completely unlimited data over 3 weeks is about $90. On the new T-Mobile Day Pass plan, that if I went for 21 days, I haven't done the exact math, it'd be $105 plus the cost of my monthly plan, which could be $30 to $60. I have no idea. Verizon would be or AT&T would be double that for the Day Pass. So 21 days, it would be $10 a day, $210 to get high speed data in Europe.
right.
Free phone calling. I'm not sure if it's free phone calling, how that works. Data or text messaging. Obviously, it's way better than things used to be. I had a bill from AT&T one year that was in the $800-900 range. From doing one of these trips. So things have changed a lot. But if you travel internationally, T-Mobile, and you have a normal phone. I mean, normal people. T-Mobile is starting to shape up to be maybe the best choice here in the U.S.
Yeah, we'll see. The challenge we have is that my phone, we're still on a 2-year contract with Verizon, but mine comes up in October. My wife's, I think, is in December. So we'll see.
Yep. Well, you might be getting new phones too, so maybe do that on T-Mobile.
Well, see, that's the idea. The idea was that if we just bought 2 whatever iPhones outright, unlocked, could we then go to Verizon and be like, look, this is the plan we want. How much is it going to pay? Go to T-Mobile. This is the plan. That it comes down to, I need that phone to work on both networks.
Okay. So then don't rely on what I told you earlier, because I actually don't know for sure. So if you were to go to apple.com, go through the wizard, and they ask you what carrier, like, I don't want a carrier, I'm going to buy it unlocked.
Yep.
Would that work on Verizon? I actually don't know. You should check on that.
Yeah, that's the question. So we will see. So, but what is your, I don't know, what's our schedule going to be next week? I guess I'll have to chat with you on Monday and figure out what's going on.
So let me see. Let me bring up my little calendar. I'm going to be seeing your buddy next week in Berlin.
Oh, don't forget to take the present.
Yeah, no, it's my bag. It is coming to Europe. We're actually only in Berlin for 2 nights. It's a really quick trip. So we go on Tuesday, we come home on Thursday.
Oh, wow. You're going there real early.
Yep. So Monday we'll be home. That's not right.
This is where Paul realizes his whole trip's falling apart.
Yeah, no, I think I didn't put in the right the area code correctly, or the area code, the time zone. It doesn't matter anyway. The point is, it's early in the morning for me in Berlin, so I would say Tuesday, Wednesday, probably Thursday. Yeah, I'll just do it from my phone, Yep. And then I'll be back for Friday, so Friday will be normal. I'll be able to hit the the live schedule or whatever.
Perfect. Well, we'll coordinate on Monday.
Yeah.
Cool. You got anything else before you go? Whatever.
No, I could be leaving for the airport as soon as 2:00. I got to go do the reverse math on that. You kind of like driving to JFK on a Friday afternoon is like nightmare scenario. Well, actually, driving to JFK in the middle of the night would probably be worse. But New York City. Yeah.
You have a direct though, right, from JFK?
Yeah, at least it is direct. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that makes it worth the drive rather than having to go somewhere else and then.
Yeah, and the people who are coming here are actually on the plane we'll be taking back.
Oh no!
So they're in the air now, I think, and we're not going to get to meet them because of that too. But they'll get off the plane and go do whatever. They'll be stuck in customs hell for whatever.
Oh, I was going to say, like, why not? But then that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, neat. Well, Paul, if nothing else, enjoy your trip.
Enjoy your, what is it? No, don't tell me. It's the Open, the British Open, which they call the Open because British still don't understand how the English language works. Will you enjoy that too?
I will. There's good and bad about this. The good is that it's on. The bad, if you will, is that, like, I woke up about 6:15 this morning and I could start watching it because it's over there. And so it's not in the evening, so I watch it all morning. It's good.
Nice. You can just kind of have it on.
Yeah, it's just there. We're just buddies while the dog is trying to decide if he's going to poop in the house or outside.
Right.
Nice. Yeah. So, all right, folks. So that wraps it up for today. We will be back next week, although it'll probably be, I'm assuming, a little bit of a modified schedule. But have yourselves a wonderful weekend, and we'll catch you right back here next time.
Man, the hardest part of this trip is going to be no Call of Duty for 3 weeks. I'm going to buy a European Xbox. And
did you ever buy that Switch?
Oh, no, I didn't. I figured the reason is I don't think I'm going to want to use it when I'm away.
Yeah.
Just because we're going to be doing stuff. So I am going to get a Switch, but I'm going to wait till I get home.
Yeah. No, I don't blame you. Especially if you're over there. Just go for a walk rather than.
Yeah. It's like, you want to go. Yeah, exactly. You want to go have a glass of wine, sit in a cafe. No, I'm going to play with the Switch.
All right. See ya.
Bye.